And also too, well, speaking this just last into the trending now. I believe this is second number two trending right now, but we got the unfortunate news. Although I have my side to it, right? Not really my side, but my perspective to it. The legendary electronic music duo
Right.
Daft Punk pretty much announced that they have split. You know what I mean? They
Right.
will no longer be making music. It's the end. This
Here's the
ends
thing.
their
So here's the
run
thing.
from 93 to, well,
Right. Oh,
2021.
right. Here's the thing with this. I kind of, um, it didn't bother me too much. But the way how it was framed originally, I thought it dead,
Oh, right.
Listen,
I'll
I
I'll
was
talk
like,
about the video in a bit. But go ahead.
I swear them dead. I was like, RP Daft Punk, what the fuck? And I was like, and then we were like, nah, they break up. And okay. Like, I don't, I'm not too verklempt over this because my attitude is that, look, Superman dead. Like, it's something that could easily them come back and they sort this out for. Like, if they're really done, all right, well, they're really done. And that is a sad thing. But I can't, in good conscience, say that's too bent up over it. But it's because it's like it's Daft Punk. They're not they've been around for a while. Like I never really get into them because as I always call them, for me they're the Star Wars of um the Star Wars of music for me. Like it's one of those things you're not into it per se yourself,
But they're
but
part of the culture so much,
right,
you
it's
kind of
so
have to know them.
right. You kind of right,
That's where I fit too. But I'll
right,
get to that in a bit.
yeah. So that's how I just kind of think it. Like it's like it's fine. It's I'm not too broken up about it. I really thought it died, just like I really was like, what? You know,
Oh, okay.
and
Like
we just lose.
you just feel when it comes
Yeah,
to big icons, you know,
and we
they
just
must, die in some accident or some kind of thing, right? Like,
no, but I
like Kobe.
and it's no, but it's like we just lose Doom Dread.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's like what the fuck? I was like, but nah, like it's like all right, cool. I had
Yeah,
I think my breath for a second there, and I was like, all right, cool.
yeah. So, well, for me, right? So before I get to the trending video, right?
Yeah,
I would confess that I am not versed in everything. I know I keep using this term a lot.
yeah. It's
Versed in
the
all things Daft Punk, right? Like I'm familiar with a couple of the singles, but
right,
I honestly have never listened to their studio albums, right? I know
right.
they'll have some listeners out there will be like, "What? You never listened to Daft Punk? What?" I could come to that same person or persons and tell them, "Hey, you'll ever listen to Ronnie Jules?" Be like, "Who?" I'll be like, the song that played for the first trailer for Black Panther. Oh,
Right.
that song's cool. So exactly. So how I see music, folks, is that it's not a matter of, oh, were you there when this album came out back in 2014? I mean, like, well, probably not. You know what I mean? I was listening to other shit. I mean, I'm sorry, but that does not mean that I can't go and listen to the album or albums of discography and appreciate what they did. That is what I do. I listen
Yeah,
to old music. I listen to new music. Right? That's just how it goes. So sorry if I miss out on the hype of when Random Access Memories came on in 2013, but I could go back and listen to it and be like, oh, okay, that's what it is. Now I
yeah. No,
appreciate it, right?
no. For
That's
me,
just how
yeah,
it is.
yeah. For me, it's mostly because of again, well, no surprise. Adult Swim and what do you call it? And then well, Interstellar 555, right? 5555. That's
Yes,
why
yes,
I
yes.
was mostly familiar with. It's that. It's nothing more or less than that. I'm not those huge techno people because it's like it is what it is, and they're really a product of the 90s mostly. I'll argue, right?
Exactly,
Uh,
yeah.
and then of
Um,
course, well, also because of the second Tron, right?
yes.
Um,
So which I'm gonna get into actually.
right, right,
But yeah, like I mean, like I think the moment where I really like, oh, these are who these guys are, was oh gosh, when they use the single harder, better, faster, stronger for
right.
Kanye West's song Stronger, right?
Right. Yeah,
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 I
yeah,
was like,
yeah. Right. Oh,
oh,
yeah.
okay,
I
okay.
forget that was a whole big Akira thing, and he had a big anime kick for a second. Yes, I forget that.
Yeah. The video is still kind of iffy, but
Yeah,
it's just Kanye just wanted to recreate, one of the best animes ever, but
Right.
still, just that beat, though, I love it, just from top to bottom, right? But for me, when I was like, oh, these are what these guys could do, Dread,
Yeah.
was when I saw Tron Legacy, which
Right.
I
Right.
still stand to this day. I'm gonna make that controversial statement, is a bona fide cult classic. Say what you want about the story. Yes, the
Yeah.
story and the movie as a whole had issues, it had holes in it. It's very
It's
edgy
the
but
album.
I actually like how edgy it is for a Disney product. Like, ooh, like oh, they went real dark and cyberpunk with this though.
Yeah.
But it's the soundtrack fit that killed it. Like I would never
Yeah.
forget seeing what is the light cycle scene,
Yep.
when right, just hearing that music for the first time. Okay, I mean I can hear the music throughout the movie, right? But that one scene though, like every time I was actually pull it up on YouTube yesterday, and it still gives me chills, right? It's just such a great moment. But yeah, just the music throughout that movie was just excellent. It fit the whole Blade Runner aesthetic of the movie anyway. So it's like, yeah, perfect choice of having them do the music for that movie. And I have a feeling now that people will kind of look back at the movie, because I know when it came out, people was like, okay, well, it wasn't like how the 1982 movie was, blah 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 blah. But I
Right.
think
Right. Right.
that people appreciate it more, because, like I say, I mean, you could disagree. I still see it as a cult classic, which means that yes, it have it's fans, it's hardcore fans, but still you can kind of understand why it underplayed in the box office, why people didn't like it that much. Like I understand, but one of the reasons why I really enjoy the movie, keep in mind, I don't love the movie, yeah, but there's one reason why I really like it, was Daft Punk's music. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, though, like oh yes, and how could I forget their work on the weekend's Starboy? You know what I mean? Just
Right.
opening and
Right.
closing the album with Starboy, and I feel it coming. You know what I mean? Two of my favorite songs of that project. So yeah, I mean, you know what I mean, just what they were able to bring to the table as far as electronic music goes, bringing back that 80s vibe, but in a different way. You know what I mean? It worked, right? So when I saw the video, well, actually, I saw the announcement for it. I saw a couple of people on Facebook, actually, a bunch of people, put up the video epilogue. That's the name of it, right? And I
Yep.
watched it, and I was like, okay, this is it. Like I thought it was some statement. Normally, artists come and make a statement. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we done, right? But no, they just put a video, right? And I was like, okay, that's the video. All right, well, all right, moving on. But it's only literally an hour or so before we met up here that I realized that it's actually a scene from a film that they made called Electroma.
Right.
So they just kind of work it in to say that this is the official farewell for the group, right? So that's why you have both robots both robot characters in the desert. One of them detonates, and the next one walks off into the sunset with a really overlong shot, but I get the point. But yeah, other than that though, so 'cause I thought all the time that they filmed this to let the world know that they're done. And I was like, well, why are they going through all that drama?
You know.
But for it to be a scene from a movie, from a film, that is like, okay, I get. But
Right.
I would, but just like you, Ricardo, I was like, I got it, but I didn't feel sad or teary eyed about it. I mean, it happens in the world of music all the time. I mean, bands split up, groups, split up for different reasons. But and I'll shut up here. I feel it was just for just for good intentions basically. It's not like
Right.
they were quarreling behind the scenes and whatnot, and it's just like we done.
Oh, you
Then
would.
they wouldn't have go out of the way to make a video to
Well,
put out a video like this anyway.
the thing with that is that you would never know. So,
That's the
like, whatever.
problem. That's the problem. You wouldn't know because of how
Yeah.
secretive they are, right?
Exactly.
Behind the scenes. But still, it just feels like how I see it. Just like with any band or any group. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's just like it's we time. I think we have done everything we can. We have different priorities now. I think it's time to hang it up. Okay, yeah, there you go. And
Right.
I think that's how it is, right? So yeah, I mean, it's not like rest in peace to Daft Punk or anything like that, but
Yeah.
yeah, I
Exactly.
mean, thanks to these, well, now, I mean, unfortunately, I know it sucks that I have to do this, but now I actually feel the need to check out their studio albums and really see what they brought to to pop culture basically. But I mean, it's not like I'm weeping and I'm you know all depressed about that. It's just that they did their thing, man. I mean, they were out for like X amount of decades, and yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, if
since the
this is the
early
way that they
'90s. Since
exactly
the early
right.
'90s, and it was they just tap into that house era music in
Yes,
the early
yeah,
'90s that blew up in in that time period. So like, yeah, well, yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I had nothing to
yeah,
complain about. I
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's music, man. They do their thing, so
right.
yeah, so yeah, man. Not much more I could say about. But any last words? No.
No, yeah, like as I say, it have not much to think because like I'm not melting down over this. Now. Like, yes, it sucks. But it's a band. Like, it's a band. It's a band.
Exactly, and well, there could be the possibility of them, teaming back up. But like I would say though is, and it's true to for many musicians as well. I don't think that they're done with music itself. That would be like if, like, see one of them, knock on wood, pass away. Like,
Right.
see, like a Tribe Called Quest or Beastie Boys,
Right.
where one
Exactly.
member dies. Is like, all right, we put out this last project and we're hanging it up. The end, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think they're just gonna make music separately. I feel they're gonna do um, more
Right.
film soundtracks, film scores, and whatnot.
Probably.
And then
Well,
maybe one day they will reunite. But for now, if this is the end, well, this is the end. Yeah. So sticking with music for a bit, let me talk about Britney Spears, way.
cool.
Or I should say the documentary itself,
Right.
Britney Spears, or the New York Times presents Framing Britney Spears.
Right.
So, did you see this film, Ricardo?
I am not. I didn't see the actual documentary, no, but I'm familiar with this story. Like I've been
All right,
following the shenanigans online for a hot minute, and like
very
what's
good.
going on here. You're right. So
Yeah,
I kind of familiar.
all right, because I was actually like nonplussed about it because there was just other things in the world, other things in music for me to care about, right? Not saying that we shouldn't care about what's going on with Britney because it is a serious issue that they
Right.
address here, right? So I guess we could do like a little backstory into the history with Britney Spears, right? So yes, late 90s, pop music was blowing up. You know what I mean? NSYNC and Spice Girls and all of them. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
pop was
Huge.
big. Pop was
Yeah.
huge in the 90s, right? You could not escape it. You could call yourself the most devoted fan of underground hip hop, which I wasn't, but you could not escape pop music. It was everywhere, right? So come Britney Spears with her debut single, "Baby One More Time," right? And
Right.
the video came out and it blew up. It was all over MTV and VH1. You know what I mean? We that just the shots of her in the schoolgirl outfit. You know what I mean? In the hallway would just
Right.
burned into our minds and whatnot.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
No,
who is this? You know what I mean?
no, she was just kind of, well, I was never really like blown away by her, frankly. It was like, oh, okay, it's just
Neither
a
me, but I just knew how
new,
big of a deal she was.
right. It's only big the white woman list. It's only because school, like girls in school say, oh, she's like a big deal and she's so hot and blah, blah, blah. And they like fans of her and they won't shut up about it. Like, okay, well, apparently she's a big deal. And then, well, the big thing is that it had, Melissa Joan Hart in the video.
Oh
Um,
yes, I
that's what I remember about that. So I was like,
forgot
wait, right,
that.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Right,
Like,
right, right.
yeah,
Yeah, but back then it was like, and this was our only time. Like you can expect this with up and coming artists now. Case in point, Christina Aguilera with her Genie in the Bottle
right.
video.
Which was,
That song.
yeah, which is the artist I was much more impressed by, frankly.
Yeah,
In terms of talent. Because Britney was good, but she was like a dancer mostly, not really a singer. And even back then, you could hear the what's called it, not the what's called it,
not the
vocoder,
reverb. Oh
reverb, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, reverb.
vocoder,
Yeah, they add
yeah,
that to the voice to make
auto
them.
tune, right?
Yeah,
Back
yeah, autotune,
that, but
right?
that's
Pop up.
back when they didn't really give a fuck about being too ridiculous about auto tune.
Yeah, that's a good
And
point. Yeah,
yeah, it was just okay. They have to use it clearly to clear up their voice because they're not that great of a singer, but like they're not too obvious, but you can like kind of hear it.
yeah,
Um, yeah. But yeah, it's
yeah,
like she's a really well marketed star. She come from Disney, you know, it's that bag, right?
yeah. And
Yeah,
to me, how big of an impact she was on music with that song and just the first album and whatnot. Like I'll never forget. I can't put the name on the actual name of the rhythm itself. Dancehall I'm
right,
talking about, but there is a dancehall rhythm that came out in the late 90s that took that dun 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 that opens the song and used as a sample throughout it. I was like, oh, that's how big this thing is. Oh, okay. But it was crazy, right? So cut to the early 2000s, we had the Oops, I Did It Again, and people were like, oh my God, who's this? And, well, this, of course, the sophomore era, right? So it's like,
Right.
okay, Britney has to be a little more sexualized and be more
And
confident in the
she started,
movements
but
and
and yeah,
songs.
this to me, so when she, this to me when she started, just had to really like blow up at that point because she was like,
Yes.
I thought she was everywhere. I remember in that year, and everybody was running that song. Radio wouldn't stop playing. It was huge. She
Yeah, it
was
was it
like
was
that was when she was real
ridiculously
big up.
huge.
Yeah,
Yeah, of course there was the VMA performance and how iconic that was with the outfit that she had. I was like, oh my God,
right,
you know
right,
what I
right.
mean?
Yeah, she had a
Yeah,
big. Right, I remember that. She had a VMA.
yeah. And the thing is with her in particular, right, and this is what the show addresses, but not too much though, was well, yeah, actually it does, but it doesn't spend too much time on it, right? Is the whole idea of her growing as an artist, right? And then you have these individuals who would think, oh, but you're supposed to be the wholesome virgin, so why are you playing this
Yeah, yeah. Well,
hypersexualized
that's it.
woman and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah,
And
that's the
like but
typical.
it's something like that, like I never really heard of in music. Like, okay, there was Madonna way back in like in the early
Exactly.
90s, but I was young. I didn't give a shit back then. But just seeing it with someone who I saw
Exactly.
come true with the first video now, and then hearing all this talk about, but you're too young for this. No, it was
Yeah.
it was it was really really interesting how that played out.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Go on. You
No,
was
no,
gonna say?
that's a usual common paradigm with it, and people like women really know starting to take control of that nonsense and control because it is one of the more insidious narratives that has always happened to women and artists. You need to kind of play it both sides. Well, you're,
Yeah,
you're sexualized and available, but right, but at the same
yeah,
time, you have to be a virgin, and you literally have to be a virgin. Like that is like a big part of it. If you're not a
yeah, yeah.
virgin, all of a sudden you're less you know, I don't know what to say, like less.
You're less of a role model because they always like to throw that
Yeah,
that
yeah,
that term. A role
right,
model for girls, man. Want to be just like you, right?
right. And
Yeah,
so that's something that because the one artist who I do respect who kind of handled that reasonably well is Taylor Swift. She kind of like managed that whole paradigm much better, in my opinion.
yeah.
Um,
Now she does music the way she want to, dread. Okay.
well, and then we had to talk about the deeper aspect of this, right? Which I only woke up of true because of Kesha, controlling your own shit, right? Sorry, black people have to go through that for years, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
and Kesha had this really like insidious like a manager, I forget the guy, but it was like
I think it was Amaja. Yeah,
right, some real nasty business of who literally have no control over life, can't get out of it, having to deal with, utter nonsense and chicanery when it comes to the, the industry. We understand that, with rap music and Tupac and all of that stuff, but like, yeah, it's real ridiculous with a lot of artists because they can't speak out effectively and they almost never have any power. Like if you thought like, rappers and black people had bad contracts, holy shit. Like these, small stars who come out of nowhere, you know, and
yeah,
especially in the case of Britney, who's well, ostensibly quite poor, growing up, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. I won't go as far as saying, and I shouldn't say the word, but what we call white trash, right? Is
No,
uh,
no, 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 no. She's
right,
not white trash. Come on.
right. But it was like effectively that was the paradigm, right?
Yeah,
But yeah, and she come up, that one of the most, is the Gilded Cage narrative, right? Sorry to say it, but have sometimes the best cages are made out of gold now. And
hmm.
yeah, they had to sort that out. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Right, but just to jump into the film itself, right? Because if I continue on, I'll just be running through she backstory, right?
Right,
But
right, right.
yeah, the show actually does dive into her career. It begins where she's born, you know what I mean, how she got into music in the first place at a very, very young age. Just the opportunities that she was given, through her mom and sacrifice
Right.
all that kind of stuff to get the chance to actually go to the Mickey Mouse Club, I believe that's the name of the show.
Yeah, right.
And then that's where her career blew up from there, right? And it's all good and all that, right? And then of course, from the Baby One More Time to Oops, I Did It Again era. This is where they bring up the whole, well, what I just mentioned before about her being this sexualized role model and all that kind of stuff, and contradictions and all that kind of stuff. Yes, they touch on that, but really, what the show is addressing, like, what? All right, so basically, what it's trying to say is that it's pretty much putting a lens on Britney, specifically in the latter half, sorry, of the 2000s, where what I mean, she was like the butt of so much jokes, and what I mean,
Yeah.
she was just being
Right.
followed by paparazzi, and that instance with her shaving her hair off and all that kind of
Right,
stuff,
right.
right?
That was kind of after, and then the whole with her Kevin Federline and all of that business.
Yeah, well, Kevin, stuff came before that actually, right? Which I'll get into. But yeah, it's the idea that we will look at Britney and laugh at her and say, "Oh, she's cuckoo and she's crazy," and
Yeah.
what I mean, is the industry that warped her, and all, well, not so much the industry, but she was just crazy because she just couldn't handle the fame and all that kind of stuff. But actually, no, it's way 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 deeper than that though. It's just the hurt and just the drama that she had to deal with, and well, they really stress on how bad the paparazzi, were towards her, but because yeah, there's numerous moments, and there's things that you kind of forget, but it really did happen, where they would just literally follow her like she's coming out of a friggin'
Yeah.
like corner store, just a small supermarket or gas station, whatever it is, and there's a swarm of guys, right?
It
Literally
is.
guys, with cameras, I mean, and just hey, wait, and they'll have somebody say, let it through, let it through, let it through, but they're still snapping them pictures, still asking a bunch of questions, like she can't even get to her own vehicle, dread. You know what I mean? And it's just really sad to just see those scenes shown in this. But another thing what they really address is well, how her father became a huge part of her career in the, I think it's from the late 2000s onward, right? Basically, where this is where they bring up the topic of conservatorship, right?
Right.
So it's like his her entire career basically, he's overseeing everything, right? It's almost to the point that she can't even have an interview without
Yeah.
somebody representing him there, right? And it just really shows how, yeah, I mean, it just kind of damages her, you know what I mean? But I'll talk about that in a little bit, right? But yeah, the show really does make you feel, it does just lift the feel of, oh, crazy cookie Britney, right? And now it's like, wow, just sad and damaged that she was. Now it's just what to
Right.
do is just do something that she loved, and I mean, sing and dance and just bring joy to people. She couldn't even do that because everybody want to paint her as this this virginal, role model who must do everything right, what I mean, by these conservative parents and all that kind of stuff, right? They
Right.
touch on her, well, failed relationship with Justin Timberlake, and how
Right. Which he looks
and
so
something that
much.
I absolutely honestly forgot to, the Crimea River song. I forgot
Yeah.
that was like a direct
Yeah.
jab at her.
He
I was
now
like,
he now
wow, I
looks.
forgot that.
Yeah, I forget Justin Timberlake looks so much worse now in retrospect, Dread, because of that. I was like,
Yes.
hey boy, like with all of that, and you had to kind of know this was going on to she, and I the kind of shit you push you through. Like, dude, look, I pretended to be no big Mr. Model, perfect man, treating women properly kind of thing, yeah. But like, you had a long relationship with a person, though, and like you would have think that you would have been nicer to them. Nope, you
Yeah.
know them,
Yeah.
nothing. It's not like you just kind of know them and you think, yeah. No, you just know this person for this long, and that is how you treat them after, and that is how you move. It's not like, you know. Anyway,
Yeah,
well,
yeah, you literally kick her under the bus through
yeah, that
song dread.
real throw under the bus thing. Yeah. Sorry to say it, but Timberlake, you kind of real look like trash, dude. Sorry, this is
Yeah,
brother.
boy. Yeah,
But I,
yeah.
again, not pretending to be holier than thou, especially when it comes to treating how I treat women in the past myself. But seriously, what the fuck?
No, true. I mean, just
Yeah,
let go, dread. Like that's something that I had to learn the hard way, but I
yeah,
not gonna hold on to this anger and just say like, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna go by the studio,
yeah.
Timberland, do a beat for
Because
me,
song, you know.
and I just gotta make a song about it. And
Well,
then even
because song,
worse,
you know.
I gotta
Yeah,
make a video about it,
and
dread. And
again,
really, really let people know,
yeah, he
hey,
he
I talk about you, I talk about her.
yeah. No, yes, he has always shown himself to be incredibly opportunistic, post his insane career. You ever notice that? That is always a kind of running joke with him, eh? Every time you don't have somebody going on, then Justin Timberlake career that sort of blow up, he's a vacuum artist now. Yeah, I always look at him as that. Anyway, whatever, moving on.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I'm more mad at him with the whole situation of Jan Jackson,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
than this, but yeah, he's still. It's like, wow, I didn't know this was. I forget all of that was a thing. Eh? Wow,
Yeah, yeah,
sad.
yeah. That's the thing, and this show really reminds you of that, though. They talk about Kevin Federline as well.
Right, right.
With the and then this issue with custody over the two sons that Britney had and all
Right.
that stuff, though. But it's really there now. That's when the paparazzi just swoop
Yeah,
in, literally like vultures, right? And
yeah.
from
And then,
what's it from behind the from a TV screen, you're thinking, oh, it's just Britney just doing crazy stuff because she can't deal
yeah,
with normal life, you know what I mean, and all that kind
yeah,
of stuff. It's like, no, it's just the pressure of just holding on to her kids, and it's just the paparazzi is spinning it now and making it even worse now. So, one quick thing before we get to what you say there, right? They even bring in the actual paparazzi who
right,
Britney lashed out. Like this is when she was bald. Eh? Remember, there was the
right, right,
moment
right,
with her
right,
pulling out the umbrella and lashing this car.
right. I remember that. Yeah,
Right. That guy is interviewed as well, Trent. He get
right.
me out of the all too, because he knows that she was going through drama now because she was just saying, leave me alone now. But he was saying, what do you mean, leave me alone for a day? Well, I think she say, leave me alone for a day now. But he kind of interpreted it as, okay, you mean like now leave you alone? Or what if fish asks you a question, I can leave you alone now? It's like, just leave the girl alone, Dread. So she
Yeah,
snapped Dread. Just like, you know what I mean? Like literally get the fuck away from me. And she just
yeah.
pull out the umbrella.
It's the
You know?
Michael Jackson thing. And okay, so here's the thing with that. This is something I always found kind of strange. And again, me sounding cynical and probably dismissing the victimhood here, but I always found it kind of weird that. But the documentary, from what I understand, did address this, where I always thought, and I kind of think I was kind of right, which is, um, well, the celebrities and the paparazzi kind of work in cahoots with each other, right? You know, if
Mm-hmm.
you if you don't want to have be in the paparazzi limelight, you probably won't be, right? Unless you already like do something and your thing, you probably won't be, or unless you're like a mega star, like a Michael Jackson, then it won't be the situation. But they work with cahoots with each other. You know, your press person call the paparazzi man, and he say, hey, yeah, I need you for this or that, and you do it. You show up, right? That's it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
right, because some celebrities you never they're pretty big stars, and yet you never see them in the limelight like this all the time, all the time, all the time. And I always think of Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez and all of that shit, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, those
Right.
were the days by Geely.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So this was kind of the case in her case. She was like, all right, well, whatever now, like you get your pictures, you get them work, that kind of
Yeah,
thing. And they work with each other and back and forth, not realizing that she kinda signed a Faustian deal in that situation. And then men when they get a little taste of the blood,
yeah.
shark in the water, right?
Right.
Yeah, that is when I didn't know how extreme the situation was in her case now. How yeah, this kind of fucking deal. Like if one or two people just like spend too much energy at paying attention to me, I just fall and melt down, right? Um, I have like the worst stage fright.
Hmm.
So it's not even like the case in that now. But for to have her be such a big star and like yeah, the lights just do turn off now. Like wow, it's real extreme now.
It is. It is. It
Yeah,
is. So not gonna run through the whole film, but they do address like what happened in the 2010s, right? Because
right.
this was where I just kind of locked off of her. Like like in the
Yeah, yeah,
2000s, you just could not escape her music. You could not escape the stuff that was going on, behind the music, basically. But
right.
in 2010s, I was just like, all right, well,
Yeah,
we
she
have
cannot.
other artists to
Yeah,
focus
she
on,
cannot
right?
disappear. She cannot disappear at that point. I
Exactly.
think that around this time is that when Taylor Swift started to blow up.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, so I was like, yeah, I just kind of just not. I didn't. I was never a fan in the first place. So it's not like I gonna keep
Same
up with
here.
Spears or anything like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, but yeah. So go ahead. Yeah.
Right. So, they talk about her Instagram account. There was actually like these
Right.
two women who actually created a podcast
Right.
based off of reading her Instagram post because they felt that, because she was just under this new management with her dad now, the Instagram pics and videos were a way of her send out these subliminal messages like, I need help, I need help. It's
Right.
weird, right? But
Right.
it kinda makes sense. But they now end up getting some information from this anonymous source that this thing with her dad was serious, right? And that's
Yeah.
where the whole Free Britney movement started, right? But
Right.
just to get into the issue that that I had with this movie, right? Like okay, like I understand the people behind it, right? In this case, it's a bunch of millennials, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
they
Right.
grew up on Britney. But
Yeah.
one fact that was made very clear, though, I actually like the fact that they brought this up, is that at first glance when you see her for the first time, you're thinking, oh, she's so perfect and all that kind of stuff, right? But when you see the flaws with her and how she's able to work through the flaws and just let people know that she's not perfect, that's when they really start to identify with her more, Dread. So now they like ride or die even further with them, with her, right? Which I appreciate, right? But at the same time, though, the film itself as a whole, that this is my main issue with it, really does feel one-sided, unfortunately.
Right.
It
Right.
is all, yes, Britney is a victim here. And yes, to be fair, she is, right? But
Yeah. So
it's
I
almost to the point, one second, it's almost to the point that okay, I think the reason why we didn't get enough balance is because the people who really should have been in the documentary to be interviewed, that would be her parents, weren't there. Like they
yeah.
say that at the very end. It's like we try to reach out to them, but they didn't reach out. And then they drop somewhere they say it's assumed that even Britney probably didn't even know about the interview being done. Sorry, the film being made now.
Yeah.
Because I think that they try to reach out to her through her dad, but it gives the impression that, oh, well, I don't want her to know about this. So she just probably like now seeing this for the first time. Oh, wow, okay. You know? So
Right.
that
Right.
was the weird thing about it. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, the Free Britney movement, yeah, they kind of, why I started following it is because I have the very bad habit of following conspiracy theories online and what bullshitters think. And this was in the domain of a kind of borderline QAnon kind of thing, no? Um,
Ah, I
like
see. Yeah.
I knew Britney was in trouble and this kind of thing, but the kind of information and the way they're trying to pass out information. I was like, that's that kind of really jumps of logic and really spurious thinking at best, right? But to be fair, it's one of those things that if it wasn't for them, she would have been probably worse off, I would argue, ultimately. Like, if it wasn't for their kind of borderline paranoia kind of thinking and reasoning, she would have been in a worse situation. I think so. That is my kind of 2 cents on that.
Hmm.
But that's about it. It's
Yeah.
nothing really thing. It's just my problem with them is that they the conspiracy theory, little conspiracy theory, a little too much. But
No,
yeah,
right,
that
but you're right though,
it's talking
because I mean,
a little QAnon, a little bit.
yeah, but
Yeah,
but you're right because I mean, look at how it even started though with these
yeah,
two women who were literally making a podcast based off of someone IG account, bro.
yeah.
Like,
And it's in the same vein as these very popular crime, these real popular crime podcasts that
oh,
like
true
this
crime,
true
yeah.
crime podcast, right. And that is how I was
I
thinking
should
about
actually
it.
like listen to one and see how it is.
Yeah.
I've never listened to it, you
I
know.
was I was into that thing, but when I remember like just following it and realizing, wait, this like that's the kind of logic we get in. Oh, it's this kind of bullshit. Okay, and I'll be fair. Unfortunately, that's why I didn't take the Britney situation as seriously as you should have, right? Because is the sad part is the messenger, right? The messenger hurting the case as they say, and which I would argue, you know, that can potentially hurt the case. That's kind of the big problem with conspiracy theories is that they undermine, the narrative that is a proper narrative that could be made against with something that deserves real moral indignation. Um, but in this case, because they are the only ones, kind of, raising the red flags about the situation, then people start to pay attention to it in the first place. So, I'll give them the credit, for, at least for now, right? They could take a backseat now, right? When serious people starting to see what's going on. But yeah,
Yeah.
as I say, it was that's how it is. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah. So yeah, so how I actually got into the show in the first place, ironically, because like I knew that it was all 'cause I was hearing about it. I saw a couple of people talk about it on Facebook, double
Right.
toasted their review of it. But
Okay, right.
is Sunday, well sorry, last Saturday's Saturday live episode, where they actually not poked fun at it, but more poked fun at the whole "We're sorry, Britney" tweet or trend basically on Twitter, right?
Right,
Because
right,
yeah, a bunch of celebrities came out and was like, "We sorry, like we didn't know it was like that,"
right.
and actually that episode is hands down one of the best episodes of the season thus far. That and
Okay.
the Dave Chappelle one, love those episodes, right? They're great,
Right.
but yeah, so I was like, okay, this actually is a thing. I'm gonna check it out. And honestly, coming out of it, it was fine. But I really wanted it to hit deeper than it should do. I think that because of its one side
Yeah.
perspective, I think that really brings it down. Okay, this really comes off as okay, if you're a fan, you're gonna feel really, really, really bad about this. But for me, who
Right.
I'm not a fan and I'm just trying to understand the story, I'm like, yeah, I get, but I feel like there's some things that are missing,
I
some
felt.
aspects that are
Yeah.
skipping.
Okay. So,
Case in
so
point, like I thought that they were going to, well, I do. Oh gosh, this was where she was trying to bring she career back, and she had this song "Give Me More," and she had that performance that people were, was largely critical of because of how poorly choreographed and everything it was, and she became a laughing stock. Then you had that one guy, the infamous "Leave Britney alone"
right.
moment.
Right. Yeah.
Like
Yeah. All these
they
little things. Yeah.
skipped that entirely, Tread.
Yeah.
And this was an issue for me because yes, I understand you want to frame her, get it, as the victim, as someone who was just put in this unfortunate situation. But she is a human being too, and you gotta kind of show that she make little mistakes here or there. Not seeing mistakes that put her in the position that she is right now, but just things that led to where she's at and why she needs help, why she
Right.
still needs that support now. Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
really could have gone a little
It's.
bit deeper
I
and
think. Yeah.
still just surface level stuff, this article, that news report, that video, that interview, and that's it really. Yeah.
Right. Right. No. Okay. So I didn't see the documentary itself, but I suspect that they needed like is a good topic, but you needed effectively a better filmmaker to like go on do something like this. Because my
Yeah.
attitude about it is that it really more should be like a general critique of our society and how we tend to treat women, right? And it's
It should. And it could have
it's
been,
not,
but it was just
yeah, not necessarily
surface
at
level. Like it's really like
right,
afterwards we gotta think about like, that really how it is with female, artists, you know what I mean? But
right.
it's about Britney, you know what I mean? Right.
Yeah, no, but it's just a general treatise on just how you treat people, how you treat
Yes.
women. The idea of what I like to call the gilded cage narrative, which is just because somebody, um, not they in a position of privilege, effectively, let's admit it, she is a white woman and she's an incredibly white woman. Um,
Oh, she is
yeah,
incredibly white.
but it doesn't change the fact that as I say, some of the best cages are made of gold, right? She's still a victim. Doesn't change that. Please be mindful of that kind of thing. That's how I kind of say a lot of that, right? To be frank, that's about it. There's nothing else to
Yeah.
say per se other than that. And
Right.
that's how I always felt about the whole situation. Like I was never a super like, oh, Britney's the worst thing ever, and so on, so on, so on. So it was like, all right. But I didn't think she had it as bad as she did. And you have to
Yeah.
like be mindful of that. That's something that very difficult to pass out. It's not actual direct suffering. It's not people getting shot in the street. It's not, nothing like that. We have bigger problems, yes, but at the same
Hmm.
time, you need to acknowledge that because it could really, really do a number on people's mental health. And yeah, she has been put in a really bad space, to be frank. And
That's
it's
true.
really
That's true.
unfortunate and
Yeah.
sad. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
just
I'm really glad that the show exists to at least show that. But I just felt that literally we could have gotten a lot more because this movie clocks in at 74 minutes, and
yeah,
I
that
just
breast
feel
short.
like yeah, it's ridiculously short though, and it just could have added some more about her life and just really about her career basically. In terms of her music, dude.
Yeah.
Not for us to be like, oh well, you see, if she did, if she had performed here better, you know what I mean? No, it's just to show the flaws of the character to this, so you can really really feel her, and just the one sidedness to everything. It's clearly for the fans. It's clearly for the Free Britney movement. Like they're gonna eat us up.
Right.
Yeah, they're clearly gonna love everything about this. But I mean, it is what it is, right? So didn't love it, didn't hate it. For me, I'm gonna give this a light 3 out of 5. It's aight for what it is,
Right.
but I imagine that if you are a diehard Britney fan, you'll love a majority of this. But still, it may come out like, yeah, but you really could have gone in a little bit deeper. But it's good that something like this exists though, so now people will pay a little more attention to what's going on, and yeah, hopefully she'll get out of this somehow though, but not to the detriment of course her mental health and family and friends, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it is what it is. It's on Hulu and FX, so if you care to give it a look, yeah, give it a look, man.
Hey, this is Matthew Bailey, and I hope you've enjoyed this segment of the BS Beats and Bailey podcast. If you'd like to hear the full episode, hit up my link tree. On the other side of my head are 2 videos you can check out. Like this video if you like it, feel free to subscribe and hit the bell as well. Thanks for listening, and until the next one, take care, peace.